Hey everyone, Arthur here with something completely unexpected. I was in the middle of my next 360 video when a wild 360 marketplace sale focusing on non-backwards compatible games appears out of the blue. And hey, if you're new to the channel, I have a 360 coverage series with 5 videos now and many more to come, covering already over 100 games and DLCs, so check that out. I'll leave a link to the entire series in the corner there. In the future, by the way, I'll change this video's title and thumbnail, because in this sale there are loads of interesting obscure games that I was already planning on covering. So this is also a proper continuation to the Xbox coverage series. But yeah, this is crazy. There hasn't been a 360 sale in like forever. Most of us even thought these were not possible anymore, but here we are. In order to upload this video as soon as possible so more people know about this sale, because this is yet to be discovered by many, I think, I'll be covering each game extra fast. This sale will last all the way up to the shutdown on July 29th. We have confirmation from Xbox themselves, and they even indicate that there will be more games added to the list, which is awesome. So I'd suggest holding off on your purchases, because they are planning on adding more games on 2 specific dates, June 18th and very near the closure, July 16th. And you know I'll be all over these when they happen. As for the games already on sale, what's cool about this selection is that there are loads of lesser known titles, so it doubly fits our mission of bringing light to games left in the dark. So let's do this. Welcome to the channel. This is From the Void. First we have Zombie Driver HD. This is loads of fun, mindless zombie killing fun with flamethrowers, machine guns, rocket launchers, and just plain simple, visceral running them over with your taxi cab or other cars, cause you do unlock a whole bunch of stuff in this game, improve your weapons, some upgrades are car specific, some are shared, the missions are varied in a proper story campaign. So yeah, this is a pretty cool game, very obscure I believe, and it's getting a 75% discount. This next one is a hard-to-like game, but it has so many great ideas. I really believe it's worth a thorough consideration, and it's one of those that ages well. We're talking about Alone in the Dark. This was the first and only Alone in the Dark game I've ever played, so I can't really stack it up against the other titles in the series. I know there is a more recent reboot too, but this game, man, what a crazy ride. Not only is the story completely bonkers, with flashy cracks on the walls pulling people in and they coming back possessed, but the gameplay is completely different from anything else. It's so distinct that it will weird out most players, and this is why the game is so hard to like. For instance, where pretty much any other game will have a button for melee attacks, this one has the right thumbstick for that. You push it to the left, then quickly to the right, and the guy will swing whatever you're holding. You push it down and then up, and he will smash it. If the object is too heavy, he will do a ramming motion, and there are a lot of weird and obtuse controls like that. So immediately, this is very unfriendly to newcomers and frustrating for anyone who doesn't like to learn a completely new control scheme. But if you're up to the task, the game justifies the unusual controls and can become very enjoyable. The player also needs to be open-minded and enjoy experimental games, because this is very much that in every single way. There's a full story-driven adventure here with dark tones and many surprises, and we've been getting less and less of this because companies apparently can't find the balance of investment and how much they can charge for a game. So this is a currently dying kind of game. So I do value these and find Alone in the Dark very much worth the $375 asking price on sale now. This of course has physicals and is also on PlayStation 3 and Steam. There is also a different game with the same name that came out on the PlayStation 2 and Wii as well. Next is a hidden gem I'll gladly mention once again, Yar's Revenge. This is a reimagining of the classic Atari game of the same name, but this time in an on-rails shooter manner. By the way, this is not the only time Atari reinvented the series. Check this video in the corner for Yar's Recharged. But this one on the 360 is pretty great and underrated. A solid on-rails shooter with interesting weapons, each with their own use, that create a rather dynamic gameplay. It's a bargain now for 99 cents, so I think this is a sure shot. This is a Xbox 360 console exclusive. You can find it only on Steam. Okay, next is a pretty obscure first-person shooter, Alien Rage. This got destroyed by critics at the time. The criticism was that the game is bland and too unforgiving. I partially agree with both. It is kinda bland and uninspired, but that was not something that bothered me, while the same kind of thing can annoy me in other games. So this has something going on for it. I think it's simply overall pleasant visuals and lighting that I enjoy. Meanwhile, it being unforgiving, yeah, in the default difficulty, which is called hard, yeah, it's unforgiving. So just change it to the easiest one, which is called challenging. From the names of the difficulties, you can see that the devs were not interested in making a walk in the park kind of game here, but the challenging difficulty was very pleasant. I died, but not too much, and I enjoyed myself for sure, because gameplay wise, this is a solid first-person shooter. It begs for a cover button though, especially being on the console that brought us Gears of War, and would have been much better if it had that, but still a fun time and definitely worth the 90% discounted price of 99 cents. Alien Rage is definitely flawed, but it's a bit underrated. Most critics gave it 4s and 5s, but I see this as a 6.5 to 7 game. People on Steam seem to agree with me. It's currently rated at 6.9, and other than Steam, this is also on PlayStation 3. There also seems to be a very rare physical version of this game, released only in Europe for PCs, but information is scarce, so I'm not even sure. This next one is nothing less than a Suda51 game with an incredible art style and fun gameplay, and yet is a deeply obscure title. We're talking about Black Knight Sword. I love the entire presentation in this game. It elevates the experience a whole lot, and it goes eerily well with the bizarre and sometimes grotesque creatures all over this game. It's a spectacle, really. Then the gameplay is absolutely solid. You can find people complaining about it because of the tough difficulty, and yeah, it's hard. In terms of challenge, this is a bit of a throwback actually, with you going back to the beginning of a stage if you run out of lives, and gaming has moved away from game overs, but I really think that this fits this game in particular very well. The punishment is restricted to that one level you died in, not the whole game like NES titles, and the gameplay is fair. Black Knight Sword is an action platformer through and through, with simple yet engaging and enjoyable gameplay, but it will take a player that likes a tall challenge. It's getting a 75% discount, going for $249, and this is stuck on the 7th generation, only on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Following up with 360 exclusive Panzer General Allied Assault. This is a revered board game that made its way to the 360. It does it in a very faithful way to the source material, keeping the deep strategy full of stuff to learn, but topped with a nice coat of gaming animations to keep things more flashy. So this results in one of the best strategy games in this generation. The gameplay is typical warfare combat, but in the form of a deck builder. You move units, kill the enemy, and try gaining terrain by using unit and ability cards that you can buy with the prestige you win from successful actions. It's loads of engaging tactical fun, and like I said, it's not found anywhere other than the 360. Moving on to Rotastic. This is a pretty cool hidden gem. It's basically the same idea of the long-forgotten NES classic Clue Land, where you grab and rotate around pegs and have to let go in the correct timing to grab many collectibles around the stage. This is loads of fun, kind of addictive too, and the physics in this game work pretty well with the right momentum and reflection on walls. This is simple but loads of solid fun for sure, and only found on the PlayStation 3 and Steam. The next one is from the creators of Hitman, and it's worth your consideration for sure. Kane and Lynch Dead Man. There is a sequel that was made forwards compatible to 1 and series, but the original remains stuck in this generation. There is a problem, however. I tried purchasing this title, but I get this error message every time. Not sure if this is for the entire Americas region or just me, but I couldn't play it to give you my impressions, so I'll have to rely on reviews this time. The story and characters are great, and it holds no punches with the violence, which is a huge highlight. The gameplay is apparently rough though, so be advised, but the ideas are sound. You can manage a squad of team members, giving them orders, and you yourself will do the typical third-person shooter action, but you will have to grapple with an overall lack of polish in the gameplay. It doesn't break it, it's just a little bit subpar to what the generation has to offer. I will definitely try grabbing this one physically, since the digital, like I said, is not available to me. It's also on the PlayStation 3 and Steam. Do let me know in the comments if you were able to purchase this and from what region. Then we have an absolute masterpiece, Child of Light. This is well known, but I'm happy to talk about it for the first time in the channel, even if super briefly. Child of Light is a brilliant turn-based RPG. I love it so much. The combat is superb. It's all about the timeline down there. Every party character and enemy will be represented and will move to the right as time passes. Once they reach the red portion in the end, they will initiate their actions, but each one has a different casting time, and if you're attacked while casting, you get interrupted and lose a turn. So there's a whole strategy aspect tied to the timeline that is the coolest, most engaging thing ever, making this one of the best modern turn-based RPGs out there. There is a lot more to say about Child of Light, from the gorgeous graphics to the well-done crafting system and the interesting side-scroller exploration outside the battle. All super enjoyable. This is one not to miss for sure. However, if you prefer it on the Xbox One, Switch or PlayStation 4, you can grab the Ultimate Edition that already has the DLC and on sale can beat this offering by a few bucks. The DLC is mostly cosmetic though. There is just one that is more meaningful in my opinion, adding a side quest with a new character, that's Golem's Plight, and in case you're like me and only want that one, the prices will be pretty much the same on the 360 or on newer systems on sale. And that inevitably brings us to Valiant Hearts: The Great War. Like Child of Light, this is a Ubisoft game that uses the UbiArt framework, which is an engine tailor-made for 2D or 2.5D games that they use for many great smaller titles like this, but nowadays has only been used for Just Dance games for several years in a row. But anyway, Valiant Heart uses it to some great results. This game looks and plays beautifully. It's based on the historical events of the First World War and depicts it in a true way, never glorifying it, but rather showing the harrowing reality that it ensues. The gameplay is fun. It has a puzzly, almost point-and-clicky focus, with a need to analyze the environment and use it to your advantage, many times avoiding killing enemies and instead finding clever solutions to find a way through. Awesome game, really worth a grab. This one has to be talked about in conjunction with Child of Light because they are bundled together in newer consoles, digitally and physically, but this discounted price on the 360 makes them as cheap as they get anywhere. There is also a Valiant Hearts collection that launched very recently that comes with the sequel, but that doesn't have a physical so far. This next one is a total skip, very unfortunately, because it has a great idea for a racer. We're talking about Fireburst. The main feature here is the fire boost. You can activate it to get your car on fire, gain more speed, and use it to blow up your opponents, which is a great idea, especially considering that the thing goes far to the sides as well. But a whole bunch of regretful gameplay design ideas completely kill the potential here. It makes sense and is a good idea to include the overheat meter to avoid abusing the fire boost, but it way too quickly causes you to blow yourself up. It's like what, 3 seconds and you're toast. It should be like 10 seconds. To cool down, you have to pass over puddles of water or go through water containers. This would have been another cool idea if the containers were way bigger and the puddles more frequent. So yeah, Fireburst feels all kinds of unbalanced, so the gameplay will not be fun unless you become a total pro at it, but that will take like hours and hours of frustrating racing, believe me. The character designs and voiceover are atrocious too, so even for 99 cents, I don't recommend this one. Next we have two Worms games, Worms Revolution and Worms Ultimate Mayhem. Revolution is one of the all-time best traditional Worms games, which is saying a lot. There are loads of customization options, a substantial single-player campaign, a funny narration, the marvelous multiplayer that makes it all even better, and loads of new, crazy, hilarious ways to dispose of your invertebrate opponents. This one is getting a 50% discount. However, it also has a PlayStation 3, Vita, and Steam versions, and even counts with a physical compilation for the PlayStation 3 that includes the DLC. Meanwhile, Ultimate Mayhem is rather different. This is one of the 3D Worms games, which makes things kinda slower because this is still a turn-based combat kind of game. It has a long campaign as well, lots to do, and it's also made better with friends, and it's seen as another great entry in the series, even if not as great as the 2D titles. This also counts with a physical version, in a collection actually, with 2 other Worms games. Next is a pretty solid aerial shooter called Dogfight 1942. This is an arcade-style dogfight shooter that simplifies the gameplay, focusing straight on the moment-to-moment action with a pretty good result. The campaign is straightforward and a lot of fun, especially now that it's going for less than $1. There are 2 DLCs for this game too. I even covered that fact on the first DLC video. Check that out for dozens of DLCs with limited availability to get on the 360 if you haven't yet, by the way. But Dogfight 1942 was not made available in more recent Xboxes. It can only be found on Steam and PlayStation 3 elsewhere, and it has no physical versions. Next is a pretty obscure precision platformer called Cloudberry Kingdom. I don't like the visuals of this game, but the gameplay is undeniably well made for a fan of precision platformers. This will result in a huge amount of deaths and repeats, just like Super Meat Boy, but the fast-paced gameplay, their short stages, and the quick respawns result in an addictive gameplay for sure. Cloudberry Kingdom is definitely a hidden gem. This is only found on the PlayStation 3 elsewhere, so you may want to take advantage of the 80% discount now. Then we have Destroy All Humans, Path of the Furon. This series has seen a sort of comeback recently, with people looking back at the older entries and finding a lot to like there, but I don't think this one is among them. Path of the Furon got some pretty dismal reviews, like 3 out of 10s. Too low for any redemption, with a hard to swallow lack of polish, bugs all over, bad humor, and slow and repetitive gameplay. The discount is not the best either, so this is probably a skip. Moving on to Final Exam. This is a side-scroller beat-em-up that is much better in multiplayer. It has some of the same ideas found in Left 4 Dead, like go grab the fuel containers over there and bring them to the motor, while at the same time fending off against incoming hordes of zombies. You alone taking turns in between these two activities is nothing compared to a group of people managing distributing the tasks to overcome these situations. In single player it gets repetitive fast, so if you can grab a couple of friends or family to play this with, it's worth the discounted price for sure. Next we have ArcaniA Gothic 4. I haven't tried it yet, but this is a pretty well received third-person action RPG. We saw a lot of these in this generation. The combat is deep and compensates for a somewhat dull mission structure. It's more sandboxy than open world, which I would enjoy, but this one is better elsewhere, even with the discount, because there is a DLC that goes for $9.99 that is already included in the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 versions, called ArcaniA The Complete Tale, and those are also currently on sale, at least for the PlayStation 4, until May 30th, and for $3.99, so that is looking like a better option. Next is Bloody Good Time. This is not my cup of tea, but I can definitely see its value. Actually, looking back at this 15 years later or so, it's easy to see that it was very much ahead of its time for at least 10 years. This is almost entirely a multiplayer focused game. No point in playing this in single player, I don't think. I say it's 10 years ahead of its time because with the popularity that games like Dead by Daylight has gotten recently, I think the landscape for Bloody Good Time would be much more receptive nowadays. Here the players are all part of a murder slasher film where each one has a target and is being hunted by someone else at the same time. What's cool is that there are also bouncers in the stage that will confiscate your weapon if they see you wielding anything dangerous. So you gotta be inconspicuous. There are many other interesting ideas too. You can become hungry and tired, so you gotta take short breaks to fill these needs, which also serves as an incentive to act normal and blend into the scenario in an organic way. Clever game design right there. I see the reception for this game on Steam being pretty positive nowadays, and I believe it's still populated there, where I'm not sure it is on the 360. But since this is a multiplayer focused game, even with the 99-cent sale price, I would suggest grabbing it on Steam for the community and longevity there. Following up with a pretty cool hidden gem called Geon Emotions. This is simple but fun. It's versus Pac-Man is what it is. You have to grab all the yellow pellets before the opponent grabs his white pellets. You can't collect each other pellets. Then when you fill the whole meter, you have to flip over to his side and reach the glowing middle portion to score. Whoever scores 5 times first wins. The coolest thing are the power-ups. You can become super fast, create all kinds of traps, and even damage the opponent, removing a chunk of his pellet meter by smashing the ground and damaging him on the flip side, which is the greatest move in the game. The gameplay idea and execution are absolutely solid, but the game could have succeeded much more if they had designed stages with missions and such to make it deeper and more engaging. Kind of a missed opportunity there. Also, there is a PlayStation 3 and Wii versions. The Wii one is physical, so it's still obtainable, and those upgrade the game a little bit with a few more multiplayer options. So if you're looking to play this multiplayer, favor getting it on the PlayStation 3 or Wii if you can. Next is Enemy Front. This one got a very mild or even negative reception. I've never played it. I'm not big on realistic warfare games. I mean, put some supernatural stuff in it like Wolfenstein and I'm all in, but the realistic war games are not my cup of tea. But for all it's worth, Steam reviews have a slightly more positive view, reaching 65% over there, so this is probably not a negative game. It's going for 90% off right now, so the price may justify the risk, and this is also found in physical form. And next, one of the better Kinect games, Mini Ninja's Adventures. I plan on doing a Kinect focus video soon, so stay tuned for that, because there are some really cool Kinect games out there, believe it or not, and this one is definitely among them. The controls work surprisingly well, the gameplay is fun and engaging, you move left and right to dodge, can also deflect projectiles, throw ninja stars and ninja magics, as well as melee attacks. This is a great fit for the Kinect, fun for kids and grown-ups, and completely exclusive to the 360, not compatible to newer Xboxes even. So do take advantage of the 85% discount. This next one is terrible. Star Raiders. Atari tried reviving this franchise on the 360 but failed miserably. The controls are awful, they change all of a sudden from one stage to the next. The missions, objectives, menu and interfaces are all cumbersome and intuitive and boring. There is little to redeem this one, so even for 99 cents, I would not recommend. Same goes for War World Tactical Combat. First of all, there's nothing tactical about it, seriously nothing. It's pure mindless action, no strategizing of any kind. That subtitle is a lie. The gameplay itself is okay, the mech combat is functional, but the gameplay design is terrible. This has 100 levels in single player, every single one being an arena combat against other mechs, and in each one they simply randomly assign you a different robot with a different loadout. Some have machine guns, some don't. Some have lasers, some don't. Some jump, some don't, so there is no continuity between each stage. It's awful. Then the AI is the worst. Enemies are dumb and easy to beat except for the fast ones, especially the jumpy one that keeps bouncing non-stop, and it's just a irritating little bug. They kinda compensated by giving it real low health, but still, this is just not fun the whole game, so avoid it even for 99 cents. Next is a pretty damn awesome hidden gem shoot 'em up with a great gameplay idea, and last time I covered this one I called it Zeit², but someone pointed out that there is no Zeit1, so this is Zeit². And it makes sense that it's Zeit², probably to convey the idea that you can create a sort of clone of yourself by rewinding time in this game. When you do that, whatever you did before will be rewinded and repeated, and your new version can do whatever you want. Your rewinded shots are necessary to defeat some kinds of enemies, and every shot counts in this game because shooting depletes your health, which sounds like a bad idea but actually makes the whole thing more interesting here. The whole gameplay balance in Zeit² is enjoyable and exciting. With a 80% discount, I see no reason not to pick this one up, so go right ahead. Your only other option is Steam for this. Next we have a game from Arcane Studios, who has been discontinued by Microsoft recently, soon after they acquired it, which is very sad. This is Dark Messiah of Might and Magic Elements. This one is undoubtedly better on PC, so grab it on Steam if you can, because that version is more complete, with more freedom to upgrade your characters and differences in the levels too. But if you're that set on having it on the 360, this part is not bad. People have grown more and more fond of this game as time passed, so I'd say don't get spooked by the critics' reviews. Player reviews are much more favorable. The discount is pretty good right now, but this also has a physical version for the 360 only. This next one is pretty much everywhere except newer Xboxes for some reason. Legend of Kane. This is a classic 3D action platformer that was very unjustly panned by reviews in my opinion. This provides a solid adventure, and the enhanced graphics of this anniversary edition make it really pleasant on newer consoles. There was clearly a lot of heart and soul put into this game, and it's definitely enjoyable, though nothing groundbreaking. I mean, reviews, man, I don't understand how Nintendo Life gave the Wii U version of this game a 7 and then the Switch release, which are exactly the same, a 5. But anyway, this is easy to find anywhere except Xboxes, but this sale beats the lowest offering on eShop on Switch for instance, so it's up to you. This next one has a considerable learning curve, but it can grow on you a lot. Risen 3 Titan Lords. This got the typical niche hidden gem critical reception. Some gave it 5.5s and 6s, while others gave it 8s. And like many other open world action RPGs of this generation, Risen 3 has a wide array of unintended bugs and exploits. But if you can look past those, there is a thoroughly fun and enjoyable adventure here, complete with voiceover and a deep combat with lots of interesting ideas. Problem is that this discount is nothing close to what other platforms offer for this same game. Steam, PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 have the enhanced edition, including the DLCs, and they go for cheaper prices when on sale. And now let's quickly mention everything else on sale. These next ones are found on newer Xboxes and other newer systems, many times with better versions as well, so I'm giving these less of a spotlight. We have Far Cry 4, an acclaimed entry in the series, which is also found in many other systems, including a complete or gold edition on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and Series. Tomb Raider and Rise of Tomb Raider are excellent survival adventure games, pretty long and chunky campaigns with lots to do. They are almost everywhere else, with more complete editions. Then Murdered Soul Suspect is a very interesting adventure mystery game where you have to solve murder mysteries, including your own murder mystery. You are a bodiless soul that can possess other characters. Pretty cool, and I think this has aged very well. Critics were low on it, but player reviews on Steam are giving this a 90% positive score. Next is the Book of Unwritten Tales 2. This is a decently well received classic point and click adventure game, PC style, which is a shrinking genre I feel like. It counts with great puzzles, a good amount of humor, and an enjoyable adventure with nostalgic inclination. The Escapists is one that I need to try. Everyone loves this, but like the others here, there are so many other options for this game, including compilations with the sequel. Then Watch Dogs is a pretty well-known game. Most of you probably know this better than I do. I've played it, but not to completion. This is an open world game with a lot of great ideas. And Thief is another one that players like better than critics. Reviews on the 6 range pretty much killed the series, but this is definitely worth playing if you like stealth games. Trials Fusion is a solid Trials game, lots of borderline impossible maneuvers and tricks to pull off in this unlikely mix of motorcycling and platforming. Avoid getting this on Steam though, cause Ubisoft makes it impossible to play it offline. You have to log into Uplay or whatever. Ubisoft, man, they have lost their way. And now I'll just leave you with the rest of the games on sale on screen. These I barely know anything about, and it would take too long for me to cover them properly, so instead I favored getting this video as fast as possible. That's it for now, people. Stay tuned for more 360 coverage very soon. I will be focusing harder on this going forward. Remember, Xbox has indicated that they will add more games to the sale, and I will quickly make videos to cover them as soon as they go live. In the meanwhile, I'll be covering more hidden 360 gems and DLCs, so subscribe to the channel and hit all notifications in the stupid YouTube bell down there so you don't miss the next uploads. So alright, until next time, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.